Take a breath. Wherever you are right now, sitting in your car, lying in bed, walking to work, I want you to know something important. This is not your typical personal finance book. No lectures about skipping your morning coffee, no guilt trips for buying things you love. Ramit Sethi built his entire philosophy around one powerful idea. You can spend lavishly on the things you love as long as you cut mercilessly on the things you don't. He calls it conscious spending. And over the next several hours, we're going to walk through every single step of his system. From opening the right bank accounts to automating your finances so money moves without you lifting a finger, to investing confidently, even if you've never bought a single stock in your life. Here's the promise. In about 6 weeks, you can build a system that grows your wealth quietly while you live your life. Ramit wrote this for people in their 20s and 30s who feel like they should know more about money but never learned. People who feel embarrassed to ask basic questions. People who opened a Roth IRA once, forgot their password, and never went back. Sound familiar? Good. You're in exactly the right place. Let's start from the beginning. Before we talk about savings accounts or investments, we need to talk about something most finance books treat like a villain: credit cards. Here's the unpopular truth. Credit cards are one of the most powerful financial tools you have access to if you use them correctly. And correctly means one thing: paying off your full balance every single month. Not the minimum, the full amount. If you can do that, and your system will help you do it automatically, credit cards become your best friend. Why? Because of rewards. Every time you swipe your card, you're earning points, miles, or cash back. If you're not using a rewards card, you're leaving money on the table every single time you buy groceries, fill up your car, or pay your phone bill. For most people starting out, a simple cash back card is perfect. 1 to 2% back on everything adds up to hundreds of dollars a year with zero extra effort. Now let's talk about credit scores and demystify them completely. Your credit score is a 3-digit number, usually between 300 and 850. It affects your life in massive ways. Your landlord checks it, your car lender checks it, your mortgage rate depends on it. Even a 0.5% difference in a mortgage rate can cost or save you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of a loan. The biggest factor, about 35% of your score, is payment history. Pay on time, every time. Set up autopay as a safety net. The second biggest factor is credit utilization, how much of your available credit you're actually using. Keep it below 30%. The best scores stay below 10%. One powerful tip most people never use is call your credit card company once a year and ask for a credit limit increase. A higher limit with the same spending automatically lowers your utilization and takes just 5 minutes on the phone. The mindset shift Ramit wants you to have: stop fearing credit cards. Start using them as the tool they are. Use the card, pay it off. Watch your score rise. This chapter might make you a little angry, because Ramit is about to show you exactly how much big banks are quietly taking from you. Your typical big bank pays you somewhere between 0 and a fraction of a percent on your savings. Meanwhile, they take your money, lend it out at much higher rates, and pocket the difference. And they charge you fees: monthly maintenance fees, overdraft fees, ATM fees, minimum balance fees. Ramit's advice: ditch the big bank for your savings, at least partially. Set up 2 types of accounts: a regular checking account at a local bank or credit union for everyday needs, and a high-yield online savings account at somewhere like Ally, Marcus, or Capital One 360. High-yield savings accounts have paid 4 to 5% interest compared to near zero at most big banks. On $10,000, that's the difference between earning $50 a year versus $500 a year, for doing absolutely nothing differently. Most people don't make this switch because of inertia. They've always had that account and never questioned it.
Ramit calls this financial inertia, and it's one of the most expensive habits you have. Here's something most people don't know. Bank fees are negotiable. Got hit with an overdraft fee? Call and ask them to waive it. Try this. I've been a customer for several years, and this is unusual for me. Could you please waive this fee? In the vast majority of cases, they say yes. The underlying principle is simple. Companies want to keep your business. They can waive fees and lower rates, they just don't volunteer to do it. You have to ask.
We've handled credit cards and bank accounts. Now we get into the part that actually builds wealth over the long term, investing. Before anything else, Ramit wants to make one thing very clear. Investing is not complicated. The financial industry has done a brilliant job of making it seem intimidating. But the strategy for most people is almost embarrassingly simple. But first, your 401k. A 401k is a special retirement savings account. When you contribute to it, that money comes out of your paycheck before taxes. If you earn $50,000 and contribute $5,000, you only pay income tax on $45,000. Right away, you've saved money just by participating. But here's the most important piece, the employer match. Many companies match your contributions up to a certain percentage, essentially giving you free money. And yet, millions of employees never capture this match. They either don't know about it or think they can't afford to contribute enough. Ramit's rule, and this is non-negotiable, always contribute at least enough to capture the full employer match. Always. Before you pay extra on student loans, before you invest anywhere else. The employer match is an instant 100% return on your money. Nothing else in finance comes close. Now, what do you actually invest in inside your 401k? Ramit's guidance is beautifully simple. Look for a target date fund. It'll have a year in the name, something like 2055 fund or 2060 fund. Pick the one closest to when you plan to retire. That fund automatically manages itself, aggressive when you're young, gradually shifting to safer bonds as retirement approaches. One fund. Set it and forget it. Here's the power of starting early. A 25-year-old who invests $200 a month will end up with dramatically more money than a 45-year-old doing the same thing, even if the older person contributes more total dollars. That's the magic of compound interest. Your money earns returns, those returns earn returns, and after 30, 40 years, the numbers become almost unbelievable. There's a phrase Ramit loves. Time in the market beats timing the market. A mediocre plan you start today beats a perfect plan you keep postponing until next year. So if you haven't set up your 401k yet, close this app after this chapter and go do it. If the 401k is the foundation, the Roth IRA is the secret weapon. With a Roth IRA, you contribute money you've already paid taxes on. You don't get a tax deduction today. But here's the magic. Everything inside that Roth IRA, every dollar of growth, every dividend, every gain, grows completely tax-free. And when you withdraw it in retirement, tax-free. Let's make this concrete. Imagine you invest $50,000 in a Roth IRA over your working years, and by retirement, it's grown to $500,000. You pay zero taxes on that $450,000 in gains. Zero. The government gets no cent. If you're under the income limits, there's almost no reason not to use this account. Where should you open one? Ramit recommends discount brokerages, Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Low cost, reputable, and they won't try to sell you expensive products you don't need. Ramit's investment hierarchy goes like this. First, contribute to your 401k up to the employer match. Second, max out your Roth IRA. Third, go back and contribute more to your 401k. Fourth, invest in a regular taxable brokerage account. Think of it like filling buckets in order. Don't pour into the second until the first is full. And if you feel behind because you're in your 30s, starting today still beats starting next year by a measurable, real dollar amount.
Here is Ramit's core investing philosophy in one sentence. Invest in low-cost index funds and hold them for the long term. That's it. An index fund tracks a market index, most commonly the S&P 500, which represents the 500 largest companies in America. When you buy one, you're buying a tiny piece of Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and 496 other companies all at once. The S&P 500 has historically returned about 7 to 10% per year over long periods of time. So why not just pick individual stocks? Here's the research. The vast majority of professional fund managers, people who do nothing but analyze stocks all day, fail to beat the market average over the long term. More than 80% of actively managed funds underperform their benchmark index over any given 10-year period. If the professionals can't reliably beat the market, what chance does the average investor have? Very little. And index funds have extremely low fees, sometimes as low as 0.03% annually. On a $100,000 portfolio, that's $30 a year versus $2,000 a year for actively managed funds. The key insight: you don't need to pick winners. You don't need to follow the news. You don't need to stress when the market drops. You just own the whole market and participate in its long-term growth. What should you do when the market crashes? Because it does crash. In 2008, the S&P 500 dropped nearly 50%. In 2020, it dropped 30% in weeks. Ramit's answer? Nothing. Don't sell. If anything, keep buying. You're getting shares at a discount. He uses the grocery store metaphor. If your favorite orange juice goes on sale for half price, you don't stop buying it, you stock up. A market crash is the same thing. The people who panic and sell lock in their losses. The people who hold or keep investing are historically rewarded when the market recovers, as it always has.
Here's what Ramit thinks about traditional budgeting. He hates it. Not because tracking money is a bad idea, but because most budgets are built on guilt and deprivation. Cut this, skip that, stop enjoying things. And as a result, most people quit within weeks. His alternative is the conscious spending plan. The core philosophy? Decide what you truly love, what genuinely brings you joy, and spend generously on those things. Cut back hard on everything else. Here's how it works. Divide your after-tax income into 4 buckets. Bucket 1, fixed costs. Rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, loan payments. Keep this to 50 to 60% of take-home pay. Bucket 2, investments. Your 401k, Roth IRA, and anything going toward your future self. Aim for 10%, growing toward 15 to 20%. Bucket 3, savings goals. Vacations, a new car, a down payment, around 5 to 10%. Ramit loves the idea of separate sub-savings accounts for each goal. Name one Hawaii 2026 and auto-transfer money into it weekly. Bucket 4, and this is where it gets fun, guilt-free spending. Whatever's left, around 30%, is yours to spend however you want. No justification required. Nice dinners, video games, designer shoes, concert tickets, whatever makes you happy. You've already handled savings and investments, so spending this money is fully earned. The key to this system: decide your priorities in advance, not in the moment. On the big wins versus small sacrifices debate, Ramit is direct. The biggest lever you have is your biggest fixed expense, usually housing. Cutting rent by $300 a month saves you $3,600 a year. Skipping coffee saves maybe $1,000 a year, but removes one of your daily pleasures. Ruthlessly scrutinize your big expenses. Keep the small joys that genuinely add value to your life. We've covered what to do with your money. Now here's the part that makes all of it actually happen: automation. Ramit believes, and psychology backs him up, that willpower is a terrible financial strategy. "I'll remember to transfer money to savings at the end of the month" works once, maybe twice. Then life gets in the way and the money is gone and you feel guilty. This cycle repeats for years. The solution? Set things up so the right thing happens automatically every time, without any decision required. Here's how Ramit's ideal automated system works. The moment your paycheck hits your checking account, a series of automatic transfers begins. First, your 401k contribution comes out before you even see your paycheck. Second, an automatic transfer moves money to your Roth IRA. Third, another transfer moves money to your high-yield savings account. Fourth, your credit card autopay covers the full balance on the due date. What's left in your checking account after all of this? That's your spending money. Spend it however you want. No guilt, no spreadsheets. The beauty, automation removes the single biggest enemy of financial progress, the moment of temptation. You can't spend money that's already been moved somewhere else. Setting this up takes a few hours over the weekend, but once it's running, it runs for years, decades, without you doing a single thing. And one more principle Ramit calls paying yourself first. Every time you get a raise, immediately redirect a significant portion of the increase into your automated savings before you adjust your lifestyle upward. With all these different accounts, 401k, Roth IRA, emergency fund, what do you do first? Ramit has a clear answer: the ladder of personal finance. You work on step 1 until it's done, then move to step 2, and so on. Step 1, get your financial infrastructure in place. Open accounts, understand where you're starting from. Step 2, fund your 401k up to the employer match. Always do this first. Step 3, eliminate high-interest debt. Paying 18% interest is a guaranteed 18% annual loss. Investing can't help you if debt is draining you at that rate. Step 4, build your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a high-yield savings account. Step 5, max out your Roth IRA. Step 6, go back and max out your 401k beyond just the match. Step 7, invest in a taxable brokerage account for goals beyond retirement. The latter is powerful because it removes the paralysis of having too many choices. You're not trying to optimize everything simultaneously. Just ask, where am I on the ladder? What's the next rung? Move up one rung at a time, and within a few years, most people find themselves doing all of the above comfortably.
Millions of people are dealing with debt and feeling ashamed about it. Ramit wants to take away the shame and replace it with a strategy. First, not all debt is equal. A mortgage on a home that appreciates over time is very different from $5,000 on a credit card at 22% interest. The first type might make you money. The second type is guaranteed to cost you. There are two popular strategies for paying down debt. The avalanche method: list all your debts from highest to lowest interest rate and attack the highest rate debt first. This is mathematically optimal. It saves you the most money. The snowball method: list debts from smallest to largest balance and knock out the smallest one first. Each small win builds psychological momentum to keep going. Ramit leans toward the avalanche, but acknowledges the snowball works better for many people emotionally. His real message: choose one and stick to it. The best debt payoff strategy is the one you'll actually follow through on. And here's something most people never do because they're embarrassed. You can call your credit card company and negotiate a lower interest rate. It works, especially for customers with a decent payment history. Every dollar you put toward high-interest debt is earning you a guaranteed return equal to that interest rate. There is no investment on earth that guarantees you 18%. Paying off high-interest debt is, in a very real sense, the best investment you can make. Once your automated system is running and debt is under control, you'll face the big financial decisions in life: buying a car, renting or buying a home, getting married. Most people make these decisions based on emotion or social pressure, and they can have enormous financial consequences. Let's start with cars. A new car loses 15 to 20% of its value in the first year alone. Ramit's advice is buy a reliable used car and drive it for as long as possible. A 2- or 3-year-old car has absorbed most of its depreciation and is essentially the same vehicle for a fraction of the price. Now, the rent versus buy debate. Renting is not throwing money away. You're paying for housing, a place to live, and that has real value. Buying a home comes with costs most people dramatically underestimate. Property taxes, mortgage interest, maintenance, repairs, HOA fees, closing costs, and real estate commissions when you sell. Whether buying is better than renting depends entirely on your specific situation. In some markets, buying makes obvious sense. In expensive cities, renting and investing the difference can sometimes win. Ramit's bottom line: buy a home when it makes sense for your life, not because someone made you feel guilty about renting. On weddings, the average American wedding costs $20,000 to $30,000. Most of that cost comes from social pressure, not from what actually makes the couple happy. Design a wedding around your actual values, not around what you think people expect. A small, intimate wedding you can afford is better than a lavish event that starts your marriage in debt.
Ramit closes with the most important chapter of all, the one where you actually define what a rich life means to you. This is not fluff, this is deeply practical. Without a destination, even the best financial system is just wheels spinning. Ramit introduces 3 questions. Question 1. What does your rich life look like in 10 years? Not, I want to be comfortable. Specific details. Where are you living? What does your typical week look like? Do you work for yourself? Do you travel? What experiences do you want regularly? Be as specific as you can. Write it down. Question 2. What are you willing to cut to fund your rich life? A rich life requires trade-offs. The goal is to make those trade-offs consciously, not to discover them by accident at 50. Question 3. What's the next step you can take today? Not next month, today. Open a Roth IRA, call your bank, automate a $50 transfer, have a money conversation with your partner. Big change is made up of small actions compounded over time. The inertia of the first step is the hardest part. Ramit closes with this: most people spend more time planning their vacations than planning their financial lives. You don't have to be extraordinary to build wealth. You don't need a 6-figure income or the discipline of a monk. You just have to start, automate the basics, stay consistent, and keep the big picture in mind. That's it. That's the whole game. Your rich life is waiting. The only thing between you and it is the decision to begin. Wrap up. Everything you need to remember. And that's the end of our journey through I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Let me leave you with the core messages, the ideas worth carrying with you long after this ends. Number 1. Start now. Whatever version of now you're in, savings or debt, high income or modest, the best time to start is today. Number 2. Automate everything you can. Willpower is unreliable. Systems are consistent. Number 3. Invest simply. Low-cost index funds held for the long term are one of the most consistently effective strategies in all of personal finance. Number 4. Define your rich life and spend accordingly. Spend generously on what you truly love. Cut ruthlessly on what you don't. And number 5, the big wins matter more than the small ones. Optimize housing, salary, insurance. Don't stress about coffee.